YouTube. So first of all, I want to say thanks to all the people who subscribed and watched my videos. I actually didn't think I'd get that many subscribers all at once, just because I was thinking, you know, people are gonna think, who cares about, you know, your story or whatever. Anyways, I didn't think people would be interested in our boring, chaotic life, I guess. So yeah, so I mean, since my kids are born already and like I can't walk you through like pregnancy week by week or whatever, I guess I just thought I'd give you like a little bit of background as far as like like how me and my boyfriend met. His name's Blake. I guess we'll start by saying that I'm not from California. I actually moved to California from Wisconsin when I was 14, and I tried out a semester of high school here, but I didn't really like it. I guess like the sudden change, it was just too much for me. So, you know, I was a rebel teenager, I guess. You know, like I didn't go to school, I ditched my classes, you know, I wasn't doing good. So finally my mom decided that she would send me back to Wisconsin to live with one of my aunts that lives over there. And but she said, you know, give it a try for one more semester at a different school. It's like a charter school. So I was like, fine. So I met my best friend there. Her name was Jessica. And, you know, we started taking our parents' cars, sneaking out. And I guess when I started going to that high school, everything changed. I was a sophomore at that time. And, yeah, I mean, everything changed. You know, we would take our parents' cars, we'd sneak out, you know, and we would get in trouble. So then, finally, I remember it was spring of 2006. I had a crush on this guy, and me and Jessica were sitting on the ground, and I always wear green contacts. And for some reason, people think, you know, they can't believe it's not my eyes. I don't know. You know, I guess I know they're not my green eyes, but anyways, so I remember my crush was walking over towards me, and Blake was walking over to my boyfriend, and he was actually like, he said, wait, those are contacts? I was like, shh, don't say nothing. And so I remember thinking, oh, what a loser kid, you know, not a loser kid, but you know, you just had to ruin it for me right now. So then, so yeah, so actually, you know, we started talking and stuff, more like friends though, till one time his stepsister at the time told me that he had a crush on me. So I remember for summer school we got to know each other. We'd walk home together. He'd walk me halfway home, and then we would just, so we got to know each other, and then finally we got together June 6, 2007. No, June 7, 2006. We got together that day. And I just remember, you know, like that young love feeling, like, you know, like the butterflies in your stomach, the excitement to see that person. We would stay up talking to each other on the phone. I remember one night it was like 10 at night until like 5 in the morning. And we went to sleep, and I woke up at 6:30, all ready to go to school. I had a bunch of energy, you know, I wasn't tired. I was just excited to go to school and see him, I guess. Oh man, I missed that like young love. So yeah, that wasn't like, you know, throughout the summer. And then came the fall, you know, we were still going to school. Everything was good. I was doing good in school. And then it was like December when he got in a fight with his stepmom, and he got kicked out of his house. I remember that day he came to my house, and he was there for a couple of days. Since my parents were always working, like, you know, they left like at 5 in the morning and they'd come back like at 5 in the afternoon. He was just staying in my closet, and because his stepmom got mad, she decided to take him out of that school. And so she didn't like me for some reason, and I mean, I never really even met the lady, but whatever. So she so he was in my closet for a while. I mean, you know, during the day my brother and I were at school, my parents were at work, so he'd just eat or whatever at the house. And then once like 5 o'clock hit, or when I came home from around dinner time, I'd just eat dinner in my room, I'd share with him, and that was it, you know. Then it was like that for like not even 2 weeks, I don't think. And then finally one day his mom came over, or called him and said, I'm coming to pick you up, you know, maybe we can work out something, maybe you can stay at your aunt's house and you can get registered at school. And so he agreed, and I guess he says that she came over, and it was her, his grandma, and his brother. They all lived down by Fresno, like a couple hours away, and he's always lived with his dad. Never really lived with his mom because she was really never around when they were younger. So his twin sister and his two brothers have always lived with their mom, and he's always lived with his dad. So he was like, fine. So I guess she picked him up, but instead of going to the aunt's house, he saw that they were getting closer to the freeway, and he says that they got on the freeway and they were like, we're taking me to our house. And he tried fighting it, and his brother and his mom held him down while his grandma drove. So I guess when I got home from school that day, he called me and he said, they brought me down here. Please don't leave me. I remember he was crying. And I just remember going into like a dark stage. Like, I was so upset. I won't say I was depressed because I think I was too young to be depressed. But I was at that stage where everyone's like, oh, the whole world is against me. I hate everyone. So my uncle, my aunt, were going to Mexico. They were driving down there, and my dad asked me if I wanted to go just to get away from everything. So I said yes. So we went for like 3 weeks, and I remember telling Blake, I won't be able to call you because it's expensive to call from Mexico to the U.S. So I said, how about we write a notebook to each other every day, and we just write letters to each other? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. So we wrote letters to each other every day, I guess, and this is the notebook that I actually wrote to him. I like all like the little wacky things. So yeah, these are all the letters I wrote to him every day that I was out there. And actually, okay, sorry. So this is the notebook that we wrote to each other, that I wrote to him. And while I was over there, all my cousins were suggested that I just forget about him. They're like, he's young, you'll forget about him. Don't focus on that one guy. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So my 3-week vacation, I think it was 3 weeks, was up, and I came back. I went back to school, and a couple days after that, he was still at his mom's, and he was getting frustrated because nobody was paying attention to him. Nobody wanted to give him a ride back home. His mom was like, yeah, I'll give you a ride tomorrow, just calm down. And he was getting a lot of anxiety problems because he was out of his comfort zone. Like I said, he was never with his mom. He was always with his dad. So he never had a ride out there. So finally my friend Shannon was like, oh, why don't we take your parents' car and we go pick him up? So I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I took my parents' truck that night. I didn't have a cell phone then, so I wrote down her cell phone number and I left in their truck. We left around 10 p.m. And I remember as soon as he got in the car, my dad, her phone started ringing, and it was my dad. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so dead. So she drove back. She dropped herself off. I dropped him off at the park. And it was, in January, like at 5 in the morning. It's not that cold, but I want to say it was probably like 30, 40 degrees. And so my parents were upset, but they took me to work with them. So when we got back, my dad was like, so where's he staying at if he's kicked out of his house? So Blake was like, oh, just, my ex-girlfriend's house. And I had already met her. And her boyfriend, they kind of have a similar story to ours. And they got together a couple days after we did, or something like that. And so I dropped him off there, and then he said, I said, you know what, I know you don't have a place to go, so you can come stay here. So he walked about 3 miles to my house, and then my parents were sleeping by then. And again, he just, for, I want to say maybe 2 weeks, he stayed at my house. Again, the same, the whole closet thing, and he wasn't going to school. And then, his mom knew, his grandma knew, his siblings knew, his dad knew, but they couldn't really, nobody could help or wanted to help. So then his aunt finally called and said, you can come move in with me if you want. So she's like, and I can register you at a school. So she took him in, and then a couple months after that, his dad got a divorce, and he got his own place, away from her. And Blake moved in with him, and by this time I was already pregnant with Apple. This was around April or May. I got another video, like, with what our relationship was like and what my pregnancy was like with Apple, and then another video what my pregnancy was like with the twins. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. I have a couple friends who've said, you guys have had such a cute story. We've been together since my sophomore year, and I graduated in 2008. So, we've been together for quite a while now, and people are like, that's such a cute story to tell your grandkids someday. And, hopefully it is. Hopefully, it only gets better than that. And everyone used to say, maybe people used to think, and our teachers used to say, it's just a silly boy, it's just a silly girl, you guys won't last together. I remember he actually had an English teacher who would tell him you know, she's just a girl, you know, you'll forget about her. And I had a math teacher who would tell me the same. He would be like, you know, it's just a boy, just forget about him. And his dad even said, you know, forget about that girl, you know, someone else will come in someday. But yeah, I mean, now that I'm telling this whole story, you know, I feel bad for my parents, the things that I had to put them through and all the support that they gave me. But yeah, they're awesome parents. But yeah, so I mean, nobody really thought we'd be together. I mean, even my parents were like, you know, boys will come and go in your life, and you know, you'll find someone else. And now we have 3 kids together, and you know, in June we'll be together for 7 years. So it's crazy. But I don't know, it was nice remembering how we became a family, I guess. But yeah, so I'll be posting a video about my pregnancy with Apple and my pregnancy with the twins. And then Apple started school today, and I kind of wanted to record how hectic it is to, I mean, for me, you know, I know there's other moms who probably have it worse than I do, but just so you guys can see everything I do every morning when I take Apple to school. So I'll be recording that pretty soon and uploading that. And yeah, I mean, if you guys want to tell me your stories, I haven't really ever heard like a crazy, I don't want to call it like a love story, but how you and your boyfriend or husband got together, or you know, your significant other got together, and all these crazy stories that there is about how you lasted, or maybe you didn't last together, but you know, you were together for a while. And I don't know, I'd just be interested in knowing what other stories there is out there. So yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!